All right, we are all set. Let's go ahead and get this posted up. Okay, where is that? We are live, right? Yes. Okay. Go ahead and find this. That's okay. All right, I think we're good here. We shared everything out. What's up, Non Fam? How's it going, man? Okay. Give everybody about 5 minutes to get in there. Um, All right. Okay, we're right at the 5 minute mark. All right, let's go ahead and get this started here. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll share it up to my normal page too. Okay. Jeez, got a frog in my throat. What's up, everybody? So today we are going to be taking a look at the longer orange 4K. They had sent us this. These units are not for sale right now. There's only a handful of people that I'm aware of that have them. They are on pre-order, which I have linked in my description there. It is kind of expensive at $649 US, but this produces the highest quality for LCD, MSLA, or SLA resin printing out there. This has 31 microns. So right now, the top one out there is the Frozen Sonic Mini, which that produces 35 microns. So pretty high detail on that one. This takes it even a step further. The reason for that is because unlike the Sonic Mini, it does not have a 6-inch screen. It actually has a 5.5-inch screen. So now they have updated everything. So hopefully this is a lot better of a unit than the previous one that I had to deal with. And one thing, I hope we're okay. I haven't checked out to see if there's an issue, but when I got this package, there was a huge gash in it. Now, there is protective foam in there. I don't see anything that's damaged. So we'll have to take a look at it and see. But without further ado, let's get into this. Let's see how it is. And I think maybe we'll try and set it up here so we get a closer view shot of everything. All right, so packaging, pretty good. We got some nice thick fiber cardboard. We have some nice 3M filters, whitewash. There you go. These are real quality filters. They're not just like cheap, paper ones. Like they're still obviously paper, but they have like a gloss to them, so they might last a little bit longer. No pun intended. What's up, Mr. German? Looks like we got some extra FET film, which is always nice to have. 2, in fact. So that's really, really nice that they include 2 extra FET films. We have our instruction manual for the 4K. All the information about it. We'll take a look at that. And then our foam packaging, which you guys have seen, which is a red foam packaging. Let's see, can we get this out? Yeah, there we go. Some more. It is packaged very, very well. So we have our cover here. And it is a one-piece cover. Yay! So glad to see that. unlike the previous that, you know, was a piece together. I'm so glad that they moved away from that. Oh, we're dropping stuff out of there. Get to that in a second. So nice orange color for the longer orange name. And then we have our printing base, which that is a hefty boy for a small printer. All right, I think we're good. We'll have to take a look at the damage and see if there is any on that machine. But I think, if anything, it damaged the actual metal part if it did. So we'll have to see. On top of that, Longer did send us some of their resin to check out, which is a deep peach. You guys can read that. So that'll be an interesting color to take a look at. I'm pretty sure this is close to skin color, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's get this all unwrapped here and just make sure that the machine is good. So the last Longer orange model that I had was the Longer Orange 30. And, well, it was an okay printer. You know, it was meant to be like kind of a budget printer. It did have its share of issues. The vat was machined, and it was kind of like pressed machined with tack welding, and it leaked. So I hope that they updated it. It looks like they did already. So I kind of see that. And then one of the biggest issues I had was the cover. It was a 5-piece cover, and that was my biggest issue. Was putting that thing together was just a pain. So without further ado, let's ta-da! So this looks a lot nicer. This looks plastic. This is totally plastic, 100%. Now, I don't know if this is ABS or anything, but I will note that there are some cool things about this. First off, there is a fill line that says max of 300 milliliters. So we know right there that we can put in 300 milliliters of resin. And unlike most resins, it doesn't just have a drip on the side here. It actually has a drip on the inside. So it's kind of like a step up. So it kind of has like the edge here, then a step down and a step down. And what's nice is they, I guess, machined it or designed it to have an actual drip flow from all over. So that's kind of nice to see that. Now, I wanted to check out the machine, make sure we're all good. And it looks like no damage to the machine. So we have a simple small power button on the back here. As you can see, just a small on-off switch. We have our power supply, our USB, and it looks like USB 3.0. So that'll be interesting if that actually is the case. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's just something that they put in there. But I know that this printer is unique to most of the other ones that are out there on the market. The big issue right now is with Shitubox and closing up their systems for whatever reason it may be. And this is actually Longer's own developed board. So this is not a Shitu board in here. Nothing in here belongs to Shitubox. So this is not a closed up printer. So you should be able to use Lychee slicer. Yes, that is the correct name, Lychee. And I know for sure it's on Shitubox as well. So they are still in good standing with Shitubox as of making this video and as of me using Pro version 1.1, which is not out yet. So if you guys can, go ahead and share this out to your groups, your friends, whoever, and let's get some more people in here, eh? So, I turned Canadian there for a second. All right, let's go ahead and unwrap this bad boy. If I can find the end, that would be helpful. But I probably won't. Oh, I did. I found it. First try. Very nicely wrapped. This is wrapped just as good as like the frozen printers are. not maybe even a little bit more. What's up, Steven? How's it going? Okay, so there's that. See an edge here, but I think that's on the inside, so let's find the other edge. Now, that is a much better hood, and it's got a nice little branding on the front of it. Ah, it is cracked. Ah. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'm not too worried about it. Of course, it has to be on the front, too, so it bothers me. That's fine. It happens. I'll contact Longer and see if they can send me a new one, but I'm not too worried about it. At least it's in one piece. Now, I will say that this is a very, very thin plastic. So the only thing that I'm really worried about is kind of like with the Sonic Mini is when you have stronger engineering resins that you use in it, they tend to like break down the plastic and it fogs it up. Now, it's not the end of the world because I don't really care. I don't look at the prints, but a lot of people like to have their printer looking just like this where they can see through it. If I were to show you guys my Frozen Sonic Mini hood, it's basically all frosted over. You can't really see too well in it. So unless you're using a dark color. But yeah, unfortunately, it did get cracked in shipping. So I guess that that damage to the box, did have some damage. So hopefully that's the extent of the damage. Let's hope it powers on and whatnot. So let's look at some of the stuff that they put inside here. So they put all the accessories inside like the little box that goes in the hood. So let's go ahead, take a look at that. This is a typical standard power cord, which I think I still have that beefy one up here. We'll just utilize that one. We have a nice scraper, which actually has an edge on it. So that is always key. These are really, really nice. These are like the better of the scrapers. So at least I think so. What do we got? We have a screwball. I'm guessing that's for the build plate. Take that out. Put that on the side. Looks like we have a FEP film cover or FEP cover. That's kind of nice. That's not something that's included in a lot of the smaller printers. In fact, I don't think any printers have that included. We have our typical blue scraper or plastic scraper that usually comes with it. I'll get to this in a second. We have our power brick, which it uses 18 volts at 5 amps, so kind of an oddball one. Usually it's 12 or 24, usually not 18. But hey, it's not the end of the world. We'll still utilize it to the best of our abilities. Where's the end of this? It's the end of the world as we know it. We'll plug that up just to get some power in there. And we'll plug it in. All right, and last but not least, the tried and true build plate, which is a pain to get out. So it's nicely packaged, but there we go. That's a little bit better. So this is a smaller printer, like I said. So, about the size of your hand, give or take. And this is pretty much the same exact size as the longer Orange 30. The only difference between this and the longer Orange 30, well, actually three things, would be the hood is a single solid piece. It's not a piece together. The VAT is different. And then it's 4K as well. So I guess actually 5 things because it's a 4K screen. Well, technically actually 6. 4K screen, 4K board, and a new LED matrix. So we are going to pop this back off, get this over here. And hopefully we have some test prints on here. We have another bag that has pretty much all our tools in it, which we'll use to level, but it should be leveled right out of the box. We have a welcome card, or cards, I should say. What it looks like. Yeah, these are, not sure why they had put in like 6 of these cards, but whatever. It's basically just information for if you have an issue to contact them. So we will contact them about the hood. I'm not going to press the issue if they don't want to send me one. It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to be hounding them for them. Looks like cheesecloth. So I'm not exactly sure what this is for, but it's a thinner type of paper. I don't even know if it's cheesecloth, to be honest. Some cheap gloves, which I already brought out some gloves here. And then the typical really, really cheap USBs that come with like the lower end resin printers, like the Elegoo, the Voxelab Proxima. I usually get rid of these, but I'll use it for a test print. I specifically use SanDisk for all my stuff. But again, that just might be me. So hopefully we don't have any issues. So the moment of truth. Okay, so we have power on. Now this screen is very, very small. It's even smaller than the Sonic Mini, which is probably, it's like a 2.8-inch screen, which, you know, some people, they have bare hands. Like my hands are pretty big, so, but I don't think it'll be a major issue. Let's see, is there any sound on here? Let's just make sure we turn anything off. So right now there's just 2 little setups on here. One says file and one says settings. When you go into settings, that's our move button. Then there's the LED, there's about, and then there's back. So what we're going to do is we are going to raise the Z so we can go ahead and get this up out of the way. It's a little louder than most. Not terrible. One nice thing about this, though, right now is that it has a 50 millimeter up and down. So that's a lot nicer than most of the printers that I have. The Shitu box boards seem to have either 1, 5, or 10 millimeters, or like 100 millimeters for the bigger ones, but not even some of those. Like I don't even think my Frozen Sonic Mighty has that. Yeah, it's only got 10 millimeters. So like 50 millimeters on a printer this big that's a huge thing. Like we could basically almost max out the build plate in 2 easy steps. So now, one thing I always liked about the longer orange printers and the way that they design their bed plates is they actually design them correctly. They design them with a nice drip off. Now, I really wish that they machined them to where they dripped off to one corner, but this is good enough. This is better than most because, as you can see, it just drips right off to the back. It's really, really nice. I dig that a lot. It's one of the few things that I see on any printer. The only other printer that has a nicer build plate than it is my older Weebox. So all right, so we're going to go ahead and raise this one more time. We're going to remove the vat and make sure that we're good on the LCD screen. Okay, good. I was hoping these weren't just nubs that are on here, that they actually have screws attached to them. So that's a plus. So this is a plastic vat, and it looks like seems to be injection molded. But one of the things, like I said, I wanted to point out to you guys is it has a drip, but it also has a drip here as well. So as you can see, it's got like the inside liner, then it has this lip, but over here, there's actually 2 drip areas. So a drip and then a drip. So that's kind of nice. Then on top of it, you can put this either way because there's a max fill line on this side and there's a max fill line on this side. So you don't have to have it facing one specific way. But we're probably just going to keep it this way just to make it look nice. So this is properly machined out for this specific screen. So this fits a 5.5-inch screen perfectly. there is no adhesive tape around it, which that's kind of not a good thing to a lot of people. I know a lot of people have issues with that, so we'll probably end up putting a smaller piece of like tape, like a Mach 5 thing on it. I know I have one somewhere. Basically, Mach 5 creates a tape surround that makes it look very nice, and we'll probably end up adding that. I'll either have to talk with Mach 5 or see if I got an extra one laying around here, because like I said, this should fit the older stuff. This is a 5.5 inch screen. So let's go ahead and test out the LED. And let's go ahead, turn on the UV light, make sure there is no resin in the tank. So it is very nice and evenly distributed. That's kind of cool. So you could actually turn off the black and the white. So you can cycle between the black and white. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen there, but you can kind of see the LEDs like pulsating. Now watch, I'm going to turn off the white. So it's still emitting LEDs, you can see, and you can actually turn it back on. So that's actually really cool. That's a feature I've never seen on any other printer. Is it needed? Probably not. But another cool thing is they actually have a temperature gauge here to let you know how the LED is heating up. So that's kind of cool. I am shocked that you don't see more companies make mag plates for resin printers, or do you think they are not needed? Magnetic plates. So one of the downfalls of magnetic plates is with resin. Resin is viscous. So when you put those two together, they tend to slide a lot. Now, in my usage of flex plates and everything like that, they don't hold up over time. They tend to start slipping, and you really have to make sure that they're clean. And then the other issue is a lot of people use these wash and cure stations, right? So what happens is they usually dip the build plate in those wash and cure stations. Well, what's going to happen over time with isopropyl alcohol, you use rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, to remove adhesives from stuff, right? It's kind of like goof off or goo gone. It's the same premise. So what's going to happen over time is that adhesive is just going to rip away. You're just going to be printing one day and the whole thing's just going to come loose, and you could damage your screen. You can do a lot of bad things to it. And then the bigger you get, the better it is for the flex plate, because the smaller ones, I personally am not a big fan of. They don't work very well for what I use them for, because if you print small stuff and you go to flex that, it's a royal pain. I still had to use a scraper, so it was kind of pointless. But like, and once you start getting to the medium-sized printers, like the Sonic Mighty, the Voxelab Proxima 8.9, the Elegoo Saturn, the Creale Howlett Sky, the Mono X, the Epax E10, those printers, anything above that size, the 8.9 inch screen printers, it works very well. But then the other downside you have is most of the time people like to do full build plates, or they like to do big prints. So the other issue to that is you have too much weight on there, because I'm a person that prints solid. I don't usually print hollow. It's very rare that I do, unless I'm trying to do something specific. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be actually like 99% of the time, it's going to be a solid product. So with that, you got to factor in weight, and that's going to slip, or it's going to tear away, or it's just going to demagnetize. So there's lots of issues with that. And that's one of the things why when I was thinking about making flex plates for resin printers, when I first got into them 2.5 years ago, that was my biggest struggle, was how do I get that to work without, basically machining a whole new plate and providing a replacement. So with the Mighty 4K, the screws can damage FEP if you're not careful putting the vat back. trying to think. Yeah, I guess it could. So, all right, let's go ahead and put this back on. So this is a flat plate. So there's no like holders on it or anywhere to hold it. So I guess that's one downfall of this out of anything is there's no placement area for it. And of course, I got to make sure that this is clean and this is clean. Yeah, so right now, just two tiny downfalls with it. One is the build plate needs some sort of locking mechanism. Now, I'm going to have to take a look online, but like I said, this looks like it's an exact replica of the longer Orange 30. They just added some new upgrades to it, you know, aka the 4K screen and everything. So we'll have to take a look at that and see. But yeah, I think there might be a stopper, a VAT stopper. Okay, so we went ahead and put in our print. Let's see if there's any information. So this is the longer Orange 4K. Our build volume is 120 by 68 by 190. So it is a little smaller, but it is bigger than the Frozen Sonic Mini. So really this is its competitor right next to each other is the Frozen Sonic Mini. So let's see. We have Zombie Hunter Head. That's their normal one. 3 Wise Skulls. Okay. Vampire Bust. Longer Coin. I think we'll do the longer coin. I haven't done that one. But that's basically it. We're ready to hit go. So it's a very, very quick setup and ready to rock and roll. Yes, I am using my PPE. Wait, what am I doing here? Let's rock and roll. Go ahead and flip this upside down and make sure we got everything off. I love that new thing. It's great. Works perfectly. So let's see if this comes out pretty silky smooth. Oh yeah, that butter. Got some air bubbles in it. We're going to put it up to the max fill line, and we're going to see if this actually works. I'm a little worried about it because even though that says max fill line, that's what I was thinking. Where's the drill? So supposedly this is the max. I'm a little concerned about it. I will say that. So let's go ahead and use our cheap gloves here because I got a little bit of resin on the front there to remove this. Oh, this ain't gonna work. Those gloves are way too small for my man hands. So what, we've been doing this for pretty much half an hour. Yeah, no, thankfully I always make sure I check that before I put it in. Plus I'm not using water washable resin, so it's not going to blow off the top like water washable resin does. So all right, let's go ahead and clean that up. Keep our printer as purty as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly put this down because I'm a little worried that this is too much, even though it says that it's okay. Now, we did not level this plate, so. Okay, moment of truth. Wow. They designed that like perfect. You got to be kidding me. Huh. That's awesome. They designed that perfect. It's literally right on the edge. So they literally maxed out the thing. So, just a word of advice. If you're using this printer and you fill it to the max line, make sure that your desk or whatever it's sitting on is level. Because I will say that this left side is just like right at the top there, whereas the right side has a little bit less. So if we were to prop this up and actually level it properly, because I guarantee this is leaning towards this side, towards down, towards the left side. If we prop this up just a hair, it would level out and we'd be good. So, but there's enough to maybe have like a millimeter of space around it. So we're good. All right. So let's go ahead and get to printing. And we're going to do the coin and see how fast that goes. So it looks like this is 2 hours. So let's just go through. We're going to go through and see what the fastest one is. That's 5 hours. That's a long time. That's 7 hours. That's 3 hours. So we're just going to do the coin, which is just a basic longer coin. It is supported, so it is a straight up and down coin. And that's going to take 2 hours, and that's it. And this was sliced on January 15th at 10:33. And it is going to be 3.7 meters, I think. I'm not sure what that means. 3.7 M, it says. So I'm guessing meters. Let's just double check here. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it's going to be. So whatever 3 meters is, I can't math in my head. I'm American. All right. So it's 566 layers. So one of the nicer things that I like about the longer is it actually gives you a lot of information that most of these printers don't. It has the elapsed time that it's printing on. It has the time that it's supposed to be finishing at. It has the layers, which that's everybody. But the other thing that it adds in is the LCD temperature. So right now we're at 23 degrees Celsius, I'm guessing. And that's what we're printing at. And then obviously it says that we are printing. So obviously if we pressed pause, it would probably say print. Instead of printing, it would say paused, which that's just kind of normal, but it does add in that, we are printing on a temperature here. So that's kind of nice to see that that's not something you usually see. Again, it's just the little things that add in to make that the printer a little bit better. I'm not saying this is the greatest printer, and for the price that it's at right now is kind of ridiculous, I'll be honest. But it is a lot better than the previous models that they had. So hopefully they bring down the price, because at the $649 price range, it's not really worth it to anybody to buy a printer this size for that price. You can get a printer twice the size and just as good. The only downfall is you are locked to sheet 2 board. So that's about the only downfall of it. So I guess you are kind of paying for the exclusivity type thing. One other thing I did want to mention that I don't see on a lot of smaller printers is this actually has a dual Z axis, or dual linear rails, I should say, not a Z axis. Sorry. So it's got a single Z, and then it's got a dual linear rail, which is complete overkill. So now that I'm thinking about it, it is upgraded from the longer Orange 30, because the longer Orange 30 only had a single Z and a single linear rail. So, but yeah, not too bad. It is a nice looking machine. It is just your basic machine. It's not made to look fancy or anything like that. It's made to print. My only concern about this printer for the long run is that VAT. I know some people are kind of so-so about the VAT being, you know, good or bad for long-term use because it's plastic and plastic just seems to fail, at least with resin. Um, but it could also be a mixture of user error with putting IPA in there and breaking down to plastics, or maybe even using acetone and breaking down to plastics. So you never even know. So I don't know. I've never had any issues with failing plastic vats as of yet. So hopefully we'll be okay. And I will say that the drivers on this is a little bit louder than your normal printer, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just slightly louder. It's probably comparable to my WeBox. My WeBox might be a little bit louder. The fans are super quiet, so it's not super overpowering on any way, shape, or form. Hey, hey, cat playing with my printer, playing with the filament. Yeah, that's not for you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. It's the downfall of putting printers on the floor with filament. I am curious though to know if that actually is a 3.0 USB port and if it actually works as a USB 3.0. That's my intriguing thing right now. So, as a person trying to get into resin, what would you say so far is the one to look at for a first timer? Well, that's really really hard to say because people like brands. Um, for me, Frozen is a great brand to get into just because of they are probably one of the most informative companies that I've worked with out of anything. Like if you just go on their website, they have like how to set up your machine, how to add supports, how to set up your printing on Sheet2Box. Like they provide a lot of starter information that you don't see on a lot of websites. Elegoo is a big brand name. They're kind of like the Creality of the resin printer market, which, funny enough, just does not work well with me. I've owned an Elegoo Mars, which was an absolute travesty because I apparently bought the model that they decided to change all their awesomeness and basically try and make it cheaper for everybody. And as a result, it just didn't never printed right. Like I print cubes and they're supposed to be 20 millimeters around and it would be like 18 and a half. Like I could never get it. So I had to end up taking the whole machine apart and placing some items in there. But anyway, getting a little off topic. For a first printer, the longer orange is pretty good, but like I said, at the price range that it's got, $649, that's kind of steep. So in my opinion, the one that I always tell people to go to if you're looking for smaller printers is go with the Voxel Lab Proxima as of right now. That's probably your best bang for your buck. It's readily available on Amazon. It's backed by a major company, FlashForge. It basically is FlashForge. It's their branch off, much like Calent is a branch off of Elegoo, or Elegoo is a branch off of Calent, actually. That's basically a lot of companies do that. So you see that very, very often in the 3D printing world, where companies just kind of branch off. Now it's usually with resin or filaments, not so much printers, but yeah, you do see that a lot. So in my opinion, for smaller printers, the Voxel Lab Proxima is your best bang for your buck. For medium-sized printers, it's kind of a toss-up. It really depends on where your budgeting is. I would say the Frozen Sonic Mighty is a great start. It's a very simple machine, very lightweight, and it prints nice. I've never had an issue with it. For higher medium-sized printers, the Creality Howlett Sky cannot be beaten. Um, in the medium-sized printer range, it is at the top of its game for known printers. So personally, I'm not a big fan of like the brand names. I usually go way out of my way to find the oddballs, much like my WeBox. My WeBox printer has been with me pretty much since the beginning, since I switched over to resin. It was one of my, I want to say, third resin printer, and it has served me the best. It has only had a screen replaced and a FEP replaced in the almost 3 years of using it. And that's an RGB screen. So just take that into account that it's an RGB screen that lasted 2.5 years. So, and it was still kind of 50-50 there. Like some days it would work, some days it wouldn't. It would have like scarring across the screen. So really it didn't need to be changed. You just needed to finagle it a little bit or warm it up, and then it would be okay. So, but I just didn't want to deal with that. I wanted to click and print and go. And that's pretty much how it is. So I ended up replacing the screen, which that costed me pretty penny. I want to say it was like $150, and we replaced that one. We replaced the WeBox 215 one. I think in total it was like $270 to get it shipped to me, and that's more or less just because the shipping was insane because they DHL it, and that's the only way that they ship. So DHL like 3-day was, like $80 or something insane. So looks like I get my first perfect print is big litho pick from my resin printer. Well, congratulations. I will say that normally I would do resin calibration prints on these, but since we're using longer orange products or longer resin, which, to be in all honesty, all this is the same manufacturer that manufactures Elegoo and Anycubic. This is the same exact resin, so they use the same thing. Epax even uses the same thing. For a little while, they used eSun, and then they switched over to, I want to say it's Jamhe that makes Elegoo and Anycubic resins. So that's probably who makes the longer resin. They just rebrand them. Again, that's going back to the whole rebranding thing. The same thing with filament. Well, you guys can't really see my filaments up there, but I have probably 10 different filaments, and they're all from the same company, eSun. I have Sunlu, I have Jo, I have 3D Warhorse, 3D Workhorse, which was like the transition between their names. So it's basically the same company. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of filaments out there, and it's basically all rebranded eSun that was branded to Sunlu, and Sunlu rebranded them into other things. So yeah, I think we'll talk for a little bit. We're at 48 minutes of this live stream. I think we'll cut it off at about an hour. And what I might actually do, I have another printer that has a priority on it. I might just jump off here and just jump right back onto another live stream to build another printer. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do that, though, because I have to look and see how long it's going to take. I don't want to be building a printer for a long period of time at this time of night because I have some other things to do. But we'll take a look at that. So, just to go over some specs of this printer, it says ultra high precision. The Orange 4K is ultra high precision resin 3D printer with a built-in 4K monochrome screen. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is on the box there, it actually has a checkmark box, and it says 4K mono and 4K color. So I'm guessing at some point they were deciding to do a 4K color screen. I'm not sure if that's still going to be the case. I don't see a need for that unless it's, well, no, because it wouldn't be a monochrome screen because monochrome is black and white. So I really don't see a need for that. But if they want to try and market that, they can try to. But I think that's not going to go anywhere, to be in all honesty. So let's see. So the LCD screen is a 5.5 inch. So it's actually a higher resolution than the Frozen Sonic Mini. So the Mini prints at 35 microns, and this prints at 31 microns, so slightly better. This does have a 6480 by 3840 resolution. And yeah, like I said, it's 31.5 which is micron on subpixel. With such high precision printing technology, it will be perform more details and better surface on miniatures, which is absolutely true. This has a very specific market for it. Not saying that you can't print other stuff in resin, but if you're getting a printer with this type of resolution, you're going to be printing like Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammers, miniature, things like that. That's what this and the Frozen Sonic Mini are meant for. So let's see here. Orange 4K is built with dual linear guides for more steady printing and no wobbling issue, that's absolutely true. There's not one. Yeah, it's not even doing anything. Like normally when I see single linear rails, what happens is like, okay, here's the build plate and here's the rod. The rod will go down and the rod will actually like come down a little bit and it'll depress the build plate a little bit. You'll see that a lot where the actual like Z rod actually presses down the back end a little bit more. It's not anything that'll cause major damage to it unless it's really, really bad. But as long as your build plate is level, you should be good. But I know that is an issue with the Sonic Mini 4K. I see that with that printer. Now, I know one of the remedies that they put on this printer to stop that is they put a backlash spring or backlash nut on the bottom of that. So that doesn't happen, so it doesn't go down. So that might just be the only needed fix for the Sonic Mini. But again, the Sonic Mini prints perfectly fine, so I don't have any issues with that. So uniform parallel UV lighting. Yes, we did see that, which was very, very unique. Like I said, you can turn off the white on that, that's crazy. Like usually there's different functions for that, where it's like a vat clean or a like you produce an image, but you can completely wipe the entire screen and just leave the UV. So basically what that button does is it masks the LCD or it unmasks it. That's basically what it is. So you're turning off the white and turning it all black. You're turning off the screen basically. Easy operation and algorithm embedded. Easy leveling with 4 screws with the algorithm embedded in longware. Yes. So this has a similar setup to like the Frozen printers where you just press a button and it'll automatically level everything to you. I don't know if any of the newer printers have that, but I know that's definitely a thing with the Frozen printers. Perform better uniformity, higher intensity, and shorter time of lamp. Now, one thing I did notice is, unlike most resin printers that have that LED matrix, usually what you see is you just see there's enough LEDs to cover the LCD panel. Well, it looked like they had stretched it over. So there's a possibility that this was originally designed with a 6-inch screen, and they designed the LED matrix around a 6-inch screen, and then they decided to go to a 5.5. What's cool about that is it actually has a good amount of uniformity that I can tell. Now, I didn't do the paper test or anything. I probably should have just to verify, but it didn't look like there was any, spots on the UV LEDs. Because that's usually that's one of the big issues with the Elegoo printers is when you light up the LED matrix on those, where the LEDs connect, the bulges or the bulbs, the lines show through, and they've gotten better. But even on my newer Elegoo Saturn that I had, there was still a slight faint of those 2 major lines on there. So that wasn't always an issue with the at least with the Frozen Sonic, or I'm sorry, the Elegoo Saturn. I was gonna say easy leveling with 4 screws. We already went through that. Exposure through each The UV exposure through each subpixel will be controlled accurately to deliver final 3D models with ultra smooth surfaces and ultra fine details. Orange 4K is compatible with Shitu Box as well. Which, you know what? Now that we're talking about it, I know I said Lychee was out there. I don't know if Lychee supports it right now. So we're going to boot up Lychee and see if that actually has it on there. I didn't check, and I was just using Lychee today. No, I do not want to do that. So let's go to 3D printer. Let's go to add, and let's look at longer. So the longer 4K color and mono are both accepted on here. So they do have both of them. So you can use either Shitu Box or Lychee to print with those. Of course, you're playing with that. Pricing is off on this printer, I feel. I agree. I don't know if this is something that they put at that price because they're not ready to release it yet, or what's going on, because at $649, I'm sorry, you can get a far bigger printer. It might print at a lot lower quality, but like you can basically get a Frozen Sonic Mighty and Elegoo Saturn, a Voxel Proxima 8.9. The JG Maker is going to be right around that price. Like those are medium-sized printers. This is a small printer, so something is up with that. I don't know if it's just going to be an issue with it or what's going on, but I'll have to contact them and see what's going on with their pricing, because that just seems way too expensive for any small printer. That, like I said, that's right in the range of like a medium-sized printer. Here's my cat trying to find stuff. She knows she's not supposed to be doing that. All right, let's see. Temperature detection system included. The system will stop printing when temperature is too high. Equipped with high-efficiency cooling system to improve lifespan of this 3D printer. So that's one of the reasons why they include that temperature gauge on the printing front here, is to let you know how the system is actually working. So that's kind of cool. Is it absolutely needed? Maybe. It'll definitely help you to figure out, if there's an issue with getting too hot, because I can't see any other printer on the market having that I'm aware of. So it's definitely unique to them. Again, is it worth it? Maybe. Warranty and service. The printer comes without resin, 12-month machine warranty and lifetime technical support, high efficiency and considerate community support by us. What are you doing? Oh. My cat is just being a cat. Orange 4K color upgrade to orange 4K mono steps. Please reach this article for reference here. So I'm guessing that they originally designed this with a 4K color, which that's unheard of. I don't know anybody that has a 4K color, which would be an RGB screen. But I did know that they had the 4K mono out here, so that's kind of cool. So let's just take a look around here and see what they have. So yeah, it says $649, and you can actually make payments on that. But again, I don't think that's right. And the reason why I say that is because for that price, you can get something far better. Okay, so I was actually wrong about that. So hold on. Why am I not? Normal 2K, normal 4K is 5.5 to 6 inch. Why do you guys keep saying that? Okay, so comparing it to normal 4K screens, it's 3 times the pixel number and has a higher precision, which that's just kind of marketing. Oh yeah, cats are fun. Compared to a normal 2K mono screen, it's 6 times the pixel number, which that's kind of normal. We all knew that. It is a 5.5. Okay, so the way that they're wording some of the things here is just it must be the translation stuff. Um, so yeah, one of the things that they point out, which most people know, the difference between monochrome and color screens, is the fact that by the time you print 100% of this model, you're like, if I still had the orange 30 and I did a side by side and both prints went off, they are the same exact size printing. If I printed both of those files at the same exact time, this one would finish at 100% and the orange 30 would only be 40%. So it's 60% faster, if that makes any sense. So it says. Now, obviously, that there's lots of factors in that. Obviously sizing and pixel density and all kinds of different things. Like I can basically put a 0.030 model on here and probably print it even still faster than an RGB screen. So let's see. So included is the manual, USB disc, scraper, filter, which I don't remember seeing a filter funnel actually. Hold up. Did we miss that? Nope. Nope. I didn't get no filter. Dang it. What in the hell, Bobby? Not the end of the world, but whatever. Oh, you know what? No, never mind. I'm thinking of like filter funnel, like the ones that comes with the Frozen. It's talking about these, which again, those are high quality. So I'm surprised about that. Tool set. Yep. White paper. So yeah, this is meant to wipe everything down. It's kind of like a terry cloth. That's pretty much it. Plug-in of Shitu box, which I don't think that needs because I know at least on the Shitu Box Pro there is a setup, but I'll have to double check that and make sure that everything works. So we might have to download the plugin for this to work on Shitu Box. So so it says that this actually has a 5.5-inch monochrome screen with a screen protector over it. So unlike most of those, that's why it doesn't have the tape around it, because it actually has like the surround for it, which you don't really see on printers anymore. Like gone are the days of that with like the old original Elegumars, the Anycubic Photon. Like those were the last printers to see that type of stuff. It's been a long time since you've actually seen a proper protector, like a plastic protector on it. So I'm surprised that they have that. Now it does have information on there for the color, which I'm not sure why they have that on there, but hey, we'll take a look. So it looks like we do have some people that have tested this out. Printing speed is 80 millimeters an hour, which that's a little bit faster than most of them. I think most smaller printers max out at about 60 millimeters an hour. So it's not like anything spectacular. We can take that to the max, but it's not really needed. Touchscreen is a 2.8 inch. Slicing software, longer wear, Shitu Box, and Lychee. So that is correct that it does support all those. Print size is 120/68 by 190. So it is slightly bigger than the Frozen Sonic Mini. So that's one of the one of the downfalls I'd say of the Frozen Sonic Mini is while it prints amazingly, it has a very, very small build volume on it. The build plate is pretty big, but the Z axis is very, very small on that. So, whereas this one has 190 millimeters, so that's pretty big. So I'm kind of glad that it has that. Let's see, fast printing. Yeah, again, we'll have to contact them about pricing on this because that just seems insane for that amount. So let's go ahead and look at something else. That's May Kickstarter. So they did have this on Kickstarter. I don't know if it's still on Kickstarter. Last updated July 19th. So let's see what the price was on Kickstarter. That might be why. Okay, so for Kickstarter, it looks like $285 for the lowest one, which that makes a lot of sense. That's much more affordable for a printer like that. That's actually pretty good. It should be less than $300 for this. Now, I will say that the Kickstarter already looks different than what this is. The Kickstarter actually had like a rounded top. This is a flat top, but everything else looks the same. That's the only other thing that looks different on it. So let's go ahead and share my screen here so you guys can see with me all the information that we are processing. Okay, so so it looks like early bird color. So that's actually for color, my bad. So for the monochrome screen, it's $299. So again, as long as they keep it within the $300 range, we should be okay. That's good enough to still compete with the Frozen Sonic Mini and not be too overpriced. But like I said, you are getting a much bigger printer than that. Let's see what our updates are on this. Please note that there's an update firmware of Orange 4K printer to upgrade, especially for the monochrome. So we'll have to check that. That's probably for the whole Shitu box thing, I'm sure. So yeah, there is a color version, which I just don't understand why they would have that. But hey, if you wanna have that out there, by all means. Let's see, did we get any pledging or anything? So 303 backers pledged 116,000 to help bring this project to life. So that's actually quite a lot. Again, this is not really needed for any company that's kind of big. And I know Longer is a smaller company out there. They're kind of like everyone for the FDM community. They're there, but they're not really known or talked about. So there's not really a need for them to be marketing on here, but it just seems to be the new way that everybody's doing everything. So here's a rendition of what it originally looked like. So like I said, it's more of a rounded hood, where mine just basically has a flat, which again, that's not the end of the world. 4K. So the color, so both of the color and the mono are going to be printing at similar. So this one's 31 and this one's 31 and 10. So that's actually pretty good. Longer wear, that's kind of so-so. I'll probably never ever use it, to be honest. Printing speeds increased by 300%. That's absolutely true because we have a monochrome screen. This is just some detail prints, and we are using the same type of resin, so it's more like an orange type resin than it is a skin color, I guess. At least that's what it's going to come out as. Super early bird color, Kickstarter special color. Okay, stereolithography, all gone. So they did have a $299, $339, which was, what was that one? What did that include? So I guess $339 was their pricing that they were reaching for it. 1 unit. Shipping cost is not included, so $375. Pledge US $395. So you got a color with a monochrome screen upgrade. I'm not sure why you would even do that, but okay. So yeah, basically their price range for the Max was going to be $379 for their retail price. So just reading Kickstarter comments, I'll be honest, it's kind of like Reddit. So I mean, you got to take them with a grain of salt. But I'll take a look at them here in a second. So stretch goal, okay. Upgrade build plate. Yeah, that's kind of so-so. Add-ons, plastic resin vat, metal. So this one I had issues with because as you can see it, like it's wedged together and then it's spot welded between the vat itself and the actual like bottom of the vat. So I never liked that setup. It looked very, very janky. So product launched in 2020. Mass production is supposed to be in 2020, which I'm sure everything is put behind because of everything that happened in 2020. Here's all the information about the materials inside the printer. I wish I can zoom in there. Here's all the people. Jackie Zhang was the one that I was talking with to get with them on their printer. And what is this? Push desktop, highest precision 4K 5.5. Okay. Featured in, yeah, I don't, that's just marketing material. So let's go ahead and look at some of these comments if we can. I'm not too much on Kickstarter, so let's see here. As others, I'm still waiting for the monochrome screen and e-info, and this was 4 days ago. And what about the free resin that was offered for the long delay? Thank you for your answers. Just a copy of my third email to you. Hopefully I finally get a response this time. And this is one of the reasons why I never say back a Kickstarter, no matter who it is, because this is literally like the same thing that went on with the Creality CR6SE. It's the same stuff. People having issues, not shipping. And it was worldwide shipping in general that they had issues with. And then they had fires going on with their machines. So basically that's one of the, I guess, flip sides to Kickstarter is that you can have all these issues and kind of slowly take care of them, and your reputation is still intact there. So, but at least they got to this person. So follow up with your email. LCS going. We're still waiting. It's going to take a long time to send. That I received recently after 4 impressions with this one, it no longer works. LCD continuously displays a line when I start printing. So this one, that could be user error. Somebody might have damaged the screen and pressed in the center of it or wherever. So let's go ahead and see if we can see what their issue is. Oh yeah. So that is most likely a printing error. Somebody pressed on that screen. I don't think that is a screen error. Absolutely not. Nope. See? You can see right there. See all the way on the right? Hold on. Let's rewind this. You see on the right there? That's a fracture. So I guess I can't really say for sure that it is a printer, a user error, because it can be an issue with the printer, but most likely this is going to be a user error with that right there. That is an issue. So that right there, I'm just going to chalk that up as a user error, and we'll go from that. I don't receive the mono LCD. After 3 weeks, I'm still having problems with my thing. To change the FET film last week and to realign sliders to be parallel. I did that and then did a new test print this weekend. It was also a failure again with lines all over. 3 weeks of printing and only failures. I used resin from 2 different bottles, longer 3D. Okay, both by the quality of the printer and longer 3D support. I will definitely not back any Kickstarter from them again. I'll be honest, that statement right there, you should just not back any Kickstarter, period. That's just my 2 cents on the whole subject, regardless. But you know, that's just my 2 cents on it, because there's absolutely no need for it. You know, like if I was launching a printer, okay, then Kickstarter, that's what it's meant for. It's meant for someone who has no idea what they're doing. They have no manufacturing abilities. They don't have any contacts or anything like that. They provide a product that they want to put out there, and people back it so you can make that product come to life. That's what that's for. It's not meant for companies who are established in the community to put this on the Kickstarter to promote it and use it as basically promotion. That's what it's being used for. And that's basically what it shouldn't be. Like, they should have the ability to report anything that's on Kickstarter, like Anycubic, Creality, Longer, Elegoo, all those companies that are promoting on Kickstarter really shouldn't be doing it. There's absolutely no need for it. I get why they're doing it, because it is a fantastic marketing tool for China to get as much information as they can from people, but it's not needed. Like I said, it's more or less for like me or you guys that are watching this. Like, if you want to make something come to life, I want to make a new mouse. I want to make a resin printer. Like, that would be awesome to make my own resin printer. I have so many ideas on how to, basically cut the entire market down, but I have no idea where to even start on that. I have an idea. I don't have any design skills or nothing like that. So that's basically what I would do, is I would go to Kickstarter, say, hey, I have an idea for this printer. Here's a digital rendering, and this is what we're trying to meet, and so on and so forth. And that's basically what it's for. So, but I still just have an issue with Kickstarter in general, because if someone like me that decided to do that and finally make my own resin printer, I can basically take that money and run. And there's nothing that anybody can do about it, because you're backing a Kickstarter. So that's one of my biggest issues with Kickstarter, is that there's no liability to the person who set it up. So 2 weeks now, and not a single print came out clean. All have layer shifts, and lots of them. Doesn't matter if I use longer wear, Shizu box. It's not slicing problem. Support only suggests more tests. This was the last test print. So let's take a look at this and see what this issue is. Okay. So I see some scarring here. Okay. That I understand. It's not an issue with supports. In fact, they dug the supports in there a little too much. So this is a prime example of support orientation, or model orientation, actually. So as you can see, this model is orientated straight up and down. So the reason why you see these lines is because the peel force effect is happening. So if this person were to angle this at, a 30-degree angle, like that would probably minimize or eliminate those, as well as these filler lines, I guess you could call them. But yeah, like all these lines here, that's peel force effect. That's exactly what that is. All of this. not so much on the hair. And it looks like we might be under extruding a little bit. This looks a little chalky and not 100% blended. So it looks like we might be under. See how it's like, it's kind of milky looking almost, if that makes any sense to you guys. This is not proper resin exposure time. Look at that. That right there specifically. That is a big thing. Like, look at how glossy that is. That's under exposure. So we have two issues right here: under exposure and print orientation. This is typical with anybody resin 3D printing. So again, it's I see that as more user error. I'm not trying to make excuses for the printer. I really want to see an issue with the actual printer itself. I had followed the instructions, but the settings in Sheet 2 box that he proposes in the video are not correct. 1.5 is too short. So this is another reason why I always say, like, do an exposure test yourself. Don't base it off of documents or anything like that. Like, you can go off those documents, like the Excel sheets that you guys see. You can go ahead and base them off that, but that's just it. It's a base. So it's a baseline for you to start, and then you do a resin calibration. You do 1 second or half a second between that, and then you calibrate in there. So that's what you're supposed to do with those. You're not just supposed to take them and run. Please reach this link. Okay. Kind of frustrated with the whole shipping. That's typical. This is probably somebody who's in the UK, because that's seems to be the big issue right now, is getting things into the UK. Super Backer, I got my 4K, received the monochrome shortly after. I watched a recent video on how to replace the screen, and it seems pretty straightforward. I do have one question, though. It shows putting down tape. Yes. Is that everyday double stick tape? Ship separately. Please reach this link for replacement of monochrome. That didn't really answer his question. But it's probably a translation thing. Okay, I received. What's up, Jerry? Oh, it's kind of late for you to be up here. I received my monochrome screen last week, and I want to replace it today because there isn't any resource for this screen replacement. So I'm trying to replace it by myself. I did, but what is the price? Here's a picture link. Okay, so that's just showing how to replace it, I'm guessing. So let's see if there's any other issues here. I wish, like, people that had issues would just, like, put them in a red area. That would be awesome. Okay, I found the manual. I printed a 75 millimeter figure tonight, and unfortunately there are many layer shifts. Okay, so here's another one. Let's take a look at this and see if this is actually layer shifts, or if this is just someone not supporting a model properly. Oh, this one might actually be okay. Let's see here. Nope, this is under exposure. I can tell you right now. So we can't really see the orientation, but judging by the way that the supports are coming out, oh my God, this is terrible. There's something wrong with this resin. This guy must have been printing in cold. Because you see, like, all the white spots on here? Look at all that. That's bad separation. That's not good resin. But again, it looks like support orientation is up and down. So you will be doing a live unboxing 9/14 with a few giveaways. When is 9/14? Let's take a gander here. 9/14 is Tuesday. What time on Tuesday? I will try and be present if I can. I'm working. So yeah, this issue again is definitely something up with your resin. I'm guessing this is going to be cold resin. And again, this is support orientation or model orientation. This model is straight up and down. I would take it. So as of right now, we'll just say this is a machine issue, okay? Because I can't verify if this is straight up and down, but judging by the way that the supports are coming out, this is going to be straight up and down, and that's a no for resin printing. You can do it, but just know that you're going to have issues with the model already. So if you're expecting it to come out good, yeah, you're probably not. And if you do, amazing, because I've never had that happen. I know if I'm printing something straight up and down that there's going to be some sort of issue with the model. And at that point, it doesn't really matter to me. So, but it's good that people are showing pictures here. So if need be, somebody can actually jump in. The problem is Longer's not really replying back to them to the way that they need to. So, Fuco's FDM printer, you are the first to hear about it. Cool. 5 p.m. Pacific. So that's you're 2 hours behind me. I will probably end up missing that because at that time I'm pretty much at work or going to work. So I'll watch like maybe 10 minutes of it and then I'll be going to work. So has been uploaded to Google Drive. Please reach this link. Okay, that's just Google. So yeah, more or less from what I've seen is resin errors on printing. Not so much issues with the actual printer. Now, I just did kind of read through this very quickly. I didn't really stop and look at everything, but yeah, a lot of those that we saw that actually had videos or images look like they were user errors than they were printer errors. So again, we'll chalk that last one up to a printer error because I can't really say for sure how the model is orientated, but for sure there's also something going on with that resin, as you guys blatantly saw that the resin was not right there. So, but anyway, not too bad. If they can bring down this this printer a little bit in price, because like I said, as of right now, $649. That's not right. That can't be right, because even their Kickstarter is way under that, even for like basically for two monochrome printers is $738. So oh, it's 9:30 there. That's right, you're 2 hours behind. I keep forgetting that, even though I just said it. So so yeah, but other than that, it's not too bad of a printer. Like I said, my two gripes about it is just like the vat being plastic. I'm not a big fan about that, and the screen not having like that tape around it. But oh, technically three. The vat not having like a proper stopping area. So that's about the only major thing. But that's an easy print that I can probably even model up and throw on Thingiverse if there's not one. In fact, while we're at it, let's go ahead and search and see if there's something out there right now. Search longer orange, 1030 4K degree. Oh, that's kind of cool. So there's a print out there that you can pop out the screen and actually orientate at 45 degrees. That's kind of cool. So we have our drip plates, which that'll work for that. 120 millimeter fan, cover holder. Okay, no. Nope. Screw holder, nope. Need a vat stopper. So I guess we'll have to design one and put it out there for everybody. Can I actually design something that's not out there? Orange 30. With wood screws. What? What is going on here? Yep, so it looks like we will have to design a bat stopper. Not the end of the world. It'll be super simple to design. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave you guys at that. I'm not going to just keep talking your guys' ears off. I am going to jump off, but I'll probably be back on just to do like a live chit chat, I guess, on the Facebook group. And that's pretty much it. I won't do it through YouTube or anything, but yeah, that's pretty much all we're going to be doing for the rest of the night. I'll deal with the other printer. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow before I go to work. And yes, unfortunately, I work tomorrow. And go from there. But so far, it looks like we're printing pretty good. We will test out some of those issues that people had, and I will try to replicate them and why there's an issue with that. Those prints and having the scarring issues. So, but you missed the unboxing. Well, technically, we're still kind of here. We're just kind of wrapping it up right now. We're kind of saying bye, but pretty straightforward. Take it out of the box. We did have a break on the hood here, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, there's a little crack on the hood, and yeah. Other than that, it's a pretty nice machine. Now, for the price that it's at currently on Longer's website, it's definitely not worth it. So, like I said, I'll have to get with Longer and make sure we Matt Germain is awake. Yeah, he is. And yeah, I'll basically have to get with Longer and see what's up with the price range and everything like that and go from there. But yeah, other than that, it's not too bad of a printer. It's definitely a nice competitor out there for the Frozen Sonic Mini. And if they can get it within the same or similar price range to the Frozen Sonic Mini, it's definitely going to be a good competitor because it's a much bigger machine in terms of Z height, which a lot of people are looking for. I do agree. I hate hoods. I like flip covers now, like this machine has. I like this where it just stays there. I'm good with that. Or I like, doors. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I hate having to set this and put it somewhere else and do there. So am I the only one who scratches them up and or gets resin on them? No, actually, pretty much all of my hoods, whether they're the flip up top or not, all have resin on them. I think, yeah, even the Frozen Sonic Mega has some drips all the way at the top here from me grabbing and pulling it open with my hand. So, yeah, that's basically it. I don't have any resin printer that doesn't have resin or some cracking on it, something like that. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Like usual, we will go ahead and give this some testing out and do some printing with it for the next week or so, and come back around with a actual review of the printer, and that's pretty much it. Are you live streaming through OBS? Actually, I bought a month for StreamYard, and I'm streaming through multiple things on StreamYards. So I'm on the group, I'm on my YouTube, and I'm actually through Twitch to see how that goes. But I'm not expecting much through Twitch. Like, I barely use that. So, but we'll have to see. So, but yeah, anyways, I'm going to let you guys go, and you all have a good night, and thanks for stopping in on the stream. And yeah, we'll see you around. Till next time, guys, happy printing.